Are you dependent on your job as your only source of income? Or worse, when COVID-19 hit, did your only source of income vanish? I get it, it's a scary thing. For that reason, I'm going to go over my 6 revenue streams and give you a guide on how to diversify your income so you don't ever find yourself in that financial jam. In watching this video, you're going to get insight into how I think and organize my income. That way you can replicate some of the things that I'm doing to get yourself ahead. Here on ENTP Life, we mostly talk about real estate, business, and then everything else that I'm interested in. So if those are the sort of topics that you are interested in, please make sure that you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and leave any comments in the comment section below. So I'm gonna go over my revenue streams from the least to greatest. And by least, I mean which one makes me the least amount of money and which one makes me the most. So the first revenue stream that I'm gonna cover, which is the least amount of income that I make, is my YouTube revenue. Now, if you didn't see my video before, I just posted how much money I'm making on YouTube with 2,500 subscribers. Since then, I've grown, so my income has also increased. But at that time, it was about $150 a month. Now, that's not a lot of money, but it does cover some basic expenses. It could cover your cell phone bill, or it could just be the money that you treat on yourself, right? You could buy yourself something, you could take yourself out, things like that. Now, once I started to see that there was revenue potential with YouTube, I started to reorganize myself and start approaching YouTube more like a business. How do I get maximum advertisement? How do I get maximum revenue? Those are the things I started thinking about. I also started thinking about how am I gonna manage the tax situation? And I'm gonna probably be doing a video on that at some point in the future. Next on the list is consulting. Now, I consult from time to time because people always ask me, how could I get into real estate, or how could I get into home care, or just need general business advice. Now, since I average about $900 an hour in my regular life, I actually charge $450 per hour to consult. For a lot of people, this is out of their budget, but for the few who do want the expertise and what I'm willing to give and share, they're willing to pay that price. Now, I don't book out too much consulting time because I am packed with other things that I'm doing. So when I do have some time and people do agree, I will consult and generate revenue off of that. When it comes to consulting, listen, everybody at home has a gift that they have, whether it's a gift that they were born with or a skill that they developed over time. And chances are there's people out there who are interested in one of your skills or talents and will pay you to give them insight as to how they can improve on themselves with your information. So if you're thinking about becoming a consultant, really you have to think about what you have to offer, what you think is valuable in your day-to-day. It might be how you approach your career. It could be, once again, playing the piano, an instrument, something along those lines, and you could go ahead and monetize that at some point in the future. The more valuable the skill set you have, the more money you could charge. Next up on the list is my tourism income. And what I mean by my tourism income is the money that I generate from Airbnb hosting. Now, I have an Airbnb apartment in New York City that's getting crushed, and I also have one in Medellin, Colombia. But during good months where tourism is healthy and normal, I'm able to generate a few $1,000s a month in cash flow. That was a business that I was gonna also scale up because I saw the potential before COVID-19 hit. But now that things have slowed down a bit, I've also pumped the brakes on expanding that operation. But as soon as I see that tourism is on the peak, I'm gonna start picking up more Airbnb apartments. The reason why I like Airbnb so much is because for a very little spend, I'm able to generate a lot of cash flow. For instance, to start my Airbnb apartment in the city, it cost me $7,000. In return, I'm seeing about an average of $1,000 a month profit on that property. That's a huge return on investment. So far, that covers 3. Now that's the bottom 3 because they're generating very little money as far as, my total income is concerned. But now starting to get into some of the more sexy and alluring forms of income, it's time to move on to number 4, which is stock trading and stock investing. Now, I started trading stocks back in 2009. One of my buddies was a stock trader. He actually got published in an article as one of the best traders under 30 at the time. And he was showing me exactly how stock trading works. And when I saw that stock trading was a lot like data analysis or actually reviewing supply and demand chains, I was hooked and locked in. So from 2009 to present, I periodically trade stocks, sometimes on an intraday basis and sometimes on a swing basis. For those of you who aren't familiar with stocks, if you are interested, leave your comments or questions in the comment section below and let me know if you want me to do more videos on how to trade stocks, how does the stock market work, because a lot of people are clueless and it's really a good place to farm money. In this economic downturn that we saw, there was a lot of volatility in the stock market. And that's my favorite conditions to day trade because I'm able to whip up $1,000, $2,000, sometimes $3,000 in just an hour to 2 hours of time of trading. I usually trade the morning session, which is from 9:30 to about 12:30. And in that short period of time, if I'm not, inundated with my other work, I might put on some day trades. Now, since I do have my other job and my other obligations, I can't be locked into the computer the way that I need to be when I'm day trading. So I also have taken on the longer term investing approach, sometimes referred to as swing trading. I might buy stocks for a few days to a few weeks once I see that they're in a position for immediate breakout. I might see a 10% return in as short as 2 days. That happens frequently. If I get 10%, I might pull back. And I have, a good amount of money invested at a time, so a 10% move in 3 days yields quite a bit of income. Once again, if you guys are interested in stock trading, please let me know. It's something that I haven't really covered on the channel, so if you do want me to dive into that, it's important that you tell me. Number 5 on the list, real estate investing. Now, my real estate portfolio consists of a mix of commercial real estate and long-term residential rentals. And I also flip properties in between that. Actually, I don't like to flip properties too much because I'm so dependent on the end buyer. People who are buying their home, they're very, how could I put this? Fickle in what they're looking for. But I guess it makes sense because they're buying something for the next 30 years. They plan on living there for their life. So they're very choosy with what they want in a home. And I really don't have the patience for that. But I do see flipping as a way of me generating more cash because I might make $40,000, $80,000 per flip. And when I do one of these flips, I usually take that money and buy myself something that I want or buy more real estate. My real love is the buy and hold strategy, sometimes referred to as the BRRRR strategy. That's where I buy a property, renovate it, rent it, and then refinance so I could get the majority of my money back so I could keep accumulating real estate. At this point, I have a little bit over $15 million of real estate under management and control, and I plan on growing that aggressively. My next milestone is to hit 100 million in real estate under management, and we'll see exactly how that goes. This year, I was expecting to add another 15 million to my portfolio, but the environment changed, so things have been a little bit slow. Now, I also said that I have a commercial holding. That space is actually called Solar Spaces. It's similar to this in that it's a co-working space. So I take out space in larger buildings, subdivide it, and rent it out to other entrepreneurs. And that generates quite a bit of money for me as well. In 2019, I had over $1 million in rental income and flipping revenue. And that's something that I'm doing kind of second in my life. So what's number 1 on the list? Well, my number 1 revenue stream is my home healthcare agency. And that really powers everything else that I'm doing. In 2019, we did just over $12 million in revenue, which averages to about $1 million a month. Now, don't think that that $12 million is hitting my pocket because one of my biggest expenses is my human capital, or the workers who are actually out there and servicing the patients. Home healthcare, the margins are about 11% to 13%, over your gross revenue. So we see about $1 million to $1.3 million profit per year, depending on whether or not we've collected our own money and that sort of thing. And that's where I draw the majority of my capital from. Now, I pay myself a salary within that company, and I function as the CEO of that company as well. But the cool thing about being a business owner, and I mean a real business owner, so I'm not sure how many of you guys read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but there's a quadrant of income, right? So there's the employee, then there's the self-employed, then there's the business owner on the right-hand side, which is kind of the wealthy side, and then the investor. What I mean by being a business owner is that you need to have a company that functions with or without you. And that company had over 400 employees in 2019. Right now we're hovering at around 300 employees because of a pullback in the market. But what ends up happening when you have a real business is that you can separate yourself from the business and still earn. You don't want to be in a situation where without you, the business doesn't work. Because I could turn around and take off 3 months and say, hey, I'm going to travel Africa, for instance, and I want to enjoy my time. And I'm not going to worry about my paycheck hitting my accounts, what's going on in my business. None of that matters because the business is a well-oiled machine that's running independent of me. And that's where you should strive to be in your overall earning, arc. You want to be a person who can generate income from just about anywhere and be living your life to, your fullest potential. You don't want to attach your income to your time, right? That's the worst thing that you can do, because the minute that you stop devoting your time to your income stops. And that's why it's important for me to talk to you guys about having a diversified income stream. Look at where my income comes from. The majority of it comes from real human needs, right? So real estate and healthcare. And that's something that I'm really stuck on, is diversifying my income to focus on what people really need. So what am I missing? I'm still missing food and energy. Those are two things that I really want to get myself into. I want to get into food through like kind of farming animal proteins, and I want to get into energy maybe by investing in solar or alternative energies. So those two things haven't hit my portfolio just yet, but guess what? They are on the horizon. So once I start generating revenue from energy or food, you're gonna see me kind of go through that here on ENTP Live. And I think you guys should do very much the same. Make sure that your revenue is coming from all kinds of places. Tourism is discretionary. People don't have to necessarily travel and go on vacation, right? And Airbnb and media, I guess there's a need for people to be entertained, but I don't see it as an essential need. For instance, my commercial real estate is taking a hit right now because people are saying, hey, should I really be paying my commercial rent if I'm not in my office? Do I really need office space right now? And the answer is no. But everybody's paying me on the residential side. Why? Because people need a place to live. Their home is something that's essential to them. It keeps them out of the elements of the world. It keeps them safe. It's home for themselves and home for their children. They're not going to give that up. People haven't stopped eating either, right? So that's why I want exposure to that. Of course, healthcare is a basic need. People need to be alive. That's a driving force for all animals. So being heavily involved in those two essential services is really critical for my success. So I'm going to continue to do that and expand on my portfolio, making sure that I'm generating revenue from sources that people need. And that covers my 6 revenue streams. If you have any questions on what I covered here and you want me to touch on something in greater detail, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Of course, sharing is caring. If you think somebody in your life could benefit from watching this video, please make sure you share this video on your social media feed or directly with them. And that also helps to promote my channel. So if you find this content valuable, please take the extra time out to push it forward.